This video shows you how to set up and pay commissions as an administrator in the Magic Plus CRM system. As an administrator, it is your responsibility to set up the agent's commissions correctly. Let's start by adding an agent's commission to the system. You can add the commission information when adding a new agent, or you can search for an agent to bring up their profile and then add their commission. For this example, let's pull up an existing agent by going to Agents, Search. Then click on the Edit icon to bring up their profile. Scroll down to the Commission Tiers section. This is where you enter the different levels of commission for an agent as applicable. Enter the start date. This is the date that this commission tier becomes effective, and it can be whatever you need it to be. Enter the end date. This will vary depending on how you run your agency, and it is not a required field. For example, maybe the agent just has one commission tier and it resets every year. Or perhaps your agency offers multiple commission tiers where end dates are applicable. Next, set the sales and commission amounts. This is the dollar amount where the tier will take effect. If you only have one tier, set this as 0. If you have multiple tiers, on your next tier, you would enter the sales amount at which the next tier should begin. For example, the agent may receive 60% commission for up to $25,000 in sales. Then 65% commission for sales between $25,001 and $50,000, and so forth. To show this, let's enter 0 in the sales amount field and 60 in the commission percentage field for Tier 1. Once everything is set, click Save. Now we'll enter $25,001 in the sales amount field and 65 in the commission percentage field for Tier 2. Note that the commission amount is the percentage of the commission that the agent receives. You can enter all the tiers at once, or you can come into the agent's profile at any time and add a tier as needed, as well as edit the commission tier information. You will also notice a field titled Commission Type that is a few lines above the Commission Tiers section. If you do have multiple tiers for your agents, this field is used to start over commissions or not. If commissions never reset, then once an agent reaches a tier, they never go back to a lesser tier. However, if commissions reset annually is selected on the commission reset date, each year the agent will go back to the lowest tier. Once all the information is entered, be sure to click Add Commission. If you need to delete a commission tier for any reason, you can do so by clicking on the Remove icon. Once all of your commission tiers are entered, be sure to click Save at the bottom of the page. To explain the commission amount a bit further, let's look at a trip in the system. For this example, we'll look at an existing trip. You will see that there is a field where you enter the trip amount, as well as a field where you enter the commission amount on a specific trip. Using the first tier commission amount of 60% we just set, that agent would receive 60% of this commission amount set on the trip. Administrators can set up and manage the commission tiers for themselves or other administrators the same way. Simply navigate to your profile or an admin's profile and enter the commission information using the same method. Note that an admin has the option of paying an agent 100% commission for a trip they booked for themselves personally, which is done on the Pay Invoice screen, and this will be shown later in this video. Now, let's run through the process of creating, paying, and reconciling an invoice. Once a client has returned from a trip, the agent that was assigned to that trip can create an invoice in the system. This invoice gets submitted to the agency admin for payment. Navigate to the commissions icon in the menu bar to the left and select Create Invoice. You have the ability to search for the completed trip and invoice it by using the filters across the top of the page. You will notice choosing a different filter will change the criteria that you can filter by. You can filter by a check-in or check-out date range, reservation number, client name, agents, dates and vendors, and referrals. The results that populate below are based on these filters. You will also notice the option to filter by status, which includes pending invoices or all. When the results populate, you can sort the information by using the arrows in each column. These filters remain available to you throughout each step of the invoicing process. If you need to reset the screen at any point, you can do so by clicking on the Reset button. Once you locate the trips for which you wish to create an invoice, check the box in the Create Invoice column. You can create multiple invoices at once if needed. Also note that there is an Add Notes to Admin column, where a user can add any additional notes regarding a particular invoice if needed. Once you have selected the desired trips, click the Create Invoice button. These invoices get pushed along to the Pay Invoice queue. Here, you have the ability to manually change an agent's commission if necessary, as well as apply operational fees such as postage, processing fees, and late fees if your agency charges for any of these. Click the Save button, and that amount will be deducted from the agent's commission. An agency admin can live edit these fees by clicking the dollar amount in one of these fields and then entering the correct amount. Note the deductions are made post-commission split, so the agency will always receive the correct amount of the commission split. In the Operations column, the admin can choose to pay an agent 100% of their commission, as mentioned earlier in this video, cancel a commission, or edit the commission and fees. This functions the same as the live edit. A Notes from Agent column has been added to view a note from the agent. For example, if an agent should receive a different commission amount than normal, the agent could put a reminder for the admin to see in these notes. Once everything looks correct, check the box in the Pay column and click the Pay Commissions button. The system also has a Pending Invoices feature that allows you to temporarily store a vendor payment for a reservation that is not in the system. This would likely be the result of the agent not yet entering the reservation into the system. To add a pending commission, click the Add Pending Commission button. A form will open and prompt you to enter the agent, client's name, reservation number, reservation total, and commission total. Click Save. This pending commission has now been created and will show in the list below. If you need to search for a pending commission, you can search by a reservation number or the agent's name. Once you add a pending commission to the system, it will show up for you in the Pay Invoice queue. Let's navigate to the Pay Invoice queue to see what that looks like. Here, click the Pending Commissions button, and you will see those pending commissions that you added. When the system detects that you have a pending commission entered for an item that has recently been invoiced, that reservation should be checked automatically, and the pending commission should be selected from the Pending Commission dropdown. However, if they are not, you can check the appropriate boxes. This Pending Invoices feature provides a record that you have been paid by a vendor for a commission, but the reservation hasn't been entered in the system yet, so it has not yet been paid out. This way, you won't have to dig through old commission statements from vendors when it is finally invoiced to figure out what it is. If your agency chooses not to use the invoice function, you can turn the function off by clicking the Invoicing On, Invoicing Off button. When the agency admin turns invoicing off, all reservations that have ever been input into the Magic Plus CRM system will become visible. You have the functionality of all the filters. The agency admin still has the ability to manually change an agent's commission if necessary, or apply operational fees by using the Live Edit feature or the edit icon in the operations column. Once you pay the invoice in the system, the invoice leaves the Pay Commissions queue and gets sent to the last step in the process, which is the Reconcile Invoice queue. Navigate back to the Commissions icon and select Reconcile Invoice. Note that this is where an agency admin can see where they have paid their own commission to themselves. No one else's will show in the Reconcile Invoice page. Now, you will see the invoice here, and you can see that it has been paid. If needed, you can use the Date Paid filter to generate results that show invoices that were paid based on a specific date. You can also export this information by clicking on the Export CSV button. When you click on it, the system will create and download a CSV file, which you can then open, save, or import elsewhere as needed. Lastly, the system also provides a commissions report so that you can see all of the commissions that your agency has paid out. Navigate back to the commission icon and select Commission Paid. This will direct you to a screen where you can see all of the paid commissions for the agency. You have the ability to filter the results by a date paid date range, invoice number, and specific agent. If you wish to see more rows on the page, you can select your preference. If you need to reset the screen, click the Reset button. Once you generate the desired results for this report, you can click on the green plus sign to view more details on a particular paid invoice. Further, if you need to review more details on the reservation itself, you can do so by clicking on the reservation number. When you click on the reservation number, the trip information will open in a new tab. If you need a PDF of the invoice information, you can click on the PDF icon out to the right of that particular invoice. The system will download the PDF file, which you can then save, print, or email as needed. Additionally, you can export a CSV file containing the report information by clicking on the Export CSV button. The system will then download the CSV file, which you can view, save, or import elsewhere as needed. And that covers how to set commission tiers as well as create, pay, and reconcile invoices in the Magic Plus CRM system. Thank you for watching this video.